The Coffeezilla bricks and minifigs video. Holy moly. Bro, I've been waiting for this. He said he had this slated for a June 2nd release and 3rd. June 10th. Bro must have cooked hard.
A $200,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective. This time in the $10 million
You actually
Lego
got a
studio.
Lego animation?
So I talked to every suspect involved. What I found shocked me.
No, I mean, listen, unfortunately, we can't see videos by Ben anymore on the subject. Because, yeah, he's literally being fucking muted by the court until he goes in and makes his case. There's a gag order on him on the subject in its entirety, and he can't even say the name of bricks and minifigs. Legitimately, he can't say it. Or else he'll probably just lose the case outright. So, we kind of only can keep up with this now through other means. You do see Ben a few times? I'm assuming that's gonna be fine, right? As long as this was all recorded before the gag order, right? So like, or maybe it pertains specifically to his YouTube channel, Reckless Ben, rather than like him
Okay,
himself.
before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. Consignment just means the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a store to sell, and he was supposed to get a cut when it sold. The entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection, and a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then, on November 14th, 2024, everything went wrong. This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of...
Wait, chat. This thing right here. Bro, this is like one of the biggest things that I saw lawyers point out to, that basically Bricks and Minifigs keeps changing the valuation. They basically are saying that the original $200,000 was a exaggeration for, for clicks. And it was more like a 70. And then they're like, oh no, it's actually maybe more closer to 100. Like, bro, they are like constantly switching up on what the actual valuation is.
Owners of the Salem store got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner...
Hey, BBNJJ!
What? In Eugene,
BJ?
Oregon. And Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem. And this is the exact moment...
Bro, why does Josh literally look like that? What's that emo of the dude just like staring at you? Yeah, that one. Fucking, yeah, why does he literally look exactly like the staring emo?
That store is getting handed over. The question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after
Video
taking
volume's a
over
bit
the
low.
store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between $2,000 to $5,000 that could be possibly related to Mr. Mansell's collection. But there's a problem here. There should be over 10 times that amount in this store, given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000 in the store, something happened to these Legos. But what? In order to solve this case, let's think about the suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners. These are our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones. I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here.
Oh?
First of all, maybe this is just all the result of plain old thieves breaking in. What about that possibility?
Hi, I am Chris. I was the previous franchise owner who signed the collection agreement with Brian
Who's that in the back?
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were in the police report or stolen during those.
Okay, so the Gormans say emphatically it wasn't thieves, but if that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested? I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all. With a documentary, I tracked down the thief who stole $200,000 of Lego. Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our
Is
theory, it's
Ben really at 1.2 mil YouTube subs now? Bro, I swear to God, when this thing started, 1.4 mil now, almost. Holy moly. Bro was under 1 mil before this all started. He was like 700K or something. Shit.
worth noting, Ben is currently facing a RICO
like 300 to
lawsuit by
400?
Bricks and
What?
Minifigs. He was even
gained
targeted
1
with a search
million
warrant
subscribers?
for stolen Legos.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
The owner reported overhearing conversations.
Now, how many subs did the
about
American Fort
possible
Police Department
stolen
gain?
Legos.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
I stole the Legos?
What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He
Yeah.
had no interaction, no relation to us, no relation to the store. That doesn't hold any water.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Apologies to the genius cops in Utah who play different.
We play differently here.
But I don't believe that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew about these Legos. But who does Ben suspect is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series?
The guy who runs the entire company, Ammon McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
No.
Is that a lie?
No.
That's a lie. You did take the Legos.
No. So we have, our attorneys have visited, but like, again, so who's like,
Brian Mansell.
okay, and who is that?
He's a guy who had he had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Nope. Never happened.
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the CEO.
Wait, you got on call with
of the Bricks and
Coffeezilla?
Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the COO of Bricks.
Oh shit, he got
The people
everybody?
you just saw are the McNeff brothers. They agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked them, do they have the Lego?
Shit.
What I can tell you is that we don't have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go missing. Parts of it seem to go missing on November 14th.
Well, and I guess that no, not at all. I'm gonna say, like that is not accurate at all, because
So you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere?
elsewhere. When you look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year, he explicitly stated to another podcaster.
Okay, but then why would Josh, in a phone call with Ben, say, yeah, I'll return everything? If there's nothing in the store since the very beginning, what was there for Josh to return? There's too many inconsistencies.
Sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been a big subject of the Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site locations. Can you address what that is? Is that true?
So the off-site location in the letter that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release, because we had previous break-ins, I specifically included the location that after this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into the store.
Okay, so for most of the time, the sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ammon McNeff suspects that a lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the off-site story, saying that later they no longer use
By the way,
those
I've
off-site
never
locations.
seen like
But what do
devil
we really
horn
know
earrings
about
in
the
my life
Gormans?
like that.
They are the former franchise owners
Very
after
interesting.
all. I mean, shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects. They were there the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Chris.
Chad, I have to take something back that we said. They do have eyebrows, both of them. They do have eyebrows. It's just that their hair color is just very light. So, like, it's like hard to see. Okay, they do have eyebrows.
was
You can see it.
behind
Yeah,
on
they do
the
got
lease
eyebrows.
payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store, and so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things which we've had franchisees do in the past, and that's problematic. So that's why we sent him up there to take some video footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we needed to do a hostile takeover, which can happen in franchising, where a franchise owner just kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay, so
Interesting. What is this? About the brothers. The reveal Bricks and Minifigs owners Eamon and Matthew McNeff executed a hostile takeover of their father's multi-million-dollar biz company, Legally Mine, removing him through arbitration, then suing him for $2 million in federal court while funneling company funds into their Lego empire. BAM has been failing since its inception, and this is just the latest legal maneuver from its owners to plunder whatever they can. Wait, what? They sued their own father? Obviously, we don't have the whole case in front of us, but that's crazy. This is 2021. If what this guy is saying is true, they, I guess, started a venture called Bricks and Minifigs, and it was not working out, so they made a hostile takeover of their own father's multi-million-dollar company to try to basically pump funds into Bricks and Minifigs to save it. And now that Bricks and Minifigs maybe wasn't doing that well again, they're doing but for $200,000? For $200,000, that feels really stupid. It's funny how they just mentioned hostile takeover in the video. Yeah. No, I get that this is for $2 million, chat. I'm saying right now what's happening. There's no shot they're doing so badly that they needed to steal an old man's $200,000 Lego collection. I mean, that's crazy.
The minifig story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024. This is weeks before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition
Maybe
in
it's worth a lot more.
preparation
I
for
don't
this
know.
handover. But at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th,
it could have been a power
once
move.
again, the
where
same
they got away with it once, so they think they could get away with anything now. So they're like, let's just bully this guy for $200K easy,
concern about the Gorman stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that he wasn't putting things, hiding things in the back, and that and while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines, because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
So yeah, the McNeffs say, look, they don't trust
video
the Gormans.
footage of that?
And they explained it, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in
Where's
her
the video
past.
footage of that?
She apparently has a retail theft and other criminal arrests on her record that we were not aware of.
When was that?
I don't know. This has been brought out by several people online now.
Proof?
Now look, that's a huge accusation to bring up, and so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it. They're like,
how are
she
you
has
gonna
a
accuse
history
someone for having a rap sheet but have no proof? You could have just sent Coffeezilla one of these things that you saw online that showed her rap sheet. What?
Of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my god. Wow.
That's a cute dog.
Yeah, that's what they're
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, yes.
Well,
You
explain.
know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
saying. How long ago is that?
I am 45 now. So this was in 1999. Something that happened
the donkeys are
25
playing.
years ago, has no reflection and no bearing on what happened in the last 2 years, my management of the store, what happened the night corporate seized the store. It is another deflection, and it infuriates me. You're gonna try to publicly embarrass and shame me for somebody that was manipulated by local police departments when she was pregnant and 19 years old? F you. That's my response to that.
Fair.
I am so
she was
sorry.
19,
You're gonna
bro.
have to blur and cut a lot of this, but that pisses me off. I own what I have done. I own the mistakes that I have made. You cannot
God, how many dogs do they have?
intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right and I have the evidence to back it up.
Wow, this is getting kind of nasty and
I mean,
personal.
Ammon doesn't have any
and
evidence.
I just wanted to give people kind of their side. But at every turn, I hope you understand, I'm getting contradictory stories, down to if the McNeffs knew about her history in the first place.
Like, they're bringing up something that I told them about.
Wait, you told them?
Told them. They asked me.
They said they had no idea. They said if we knew, we would have never hired her.
Because we would not have hired her had we known this.
I told them I had a record from when I was 18. There was a family issue that, and didn't go into all of the details, but they were like, that's so long ago, we're gonna hire you based on who you are now.
Bro, people with twirly mustaches are never gonna recover from what Ammon's doing to their reputation. Like, I'm sure there's like perfectly, non-evil twirly mustache havers, but like they're all untwirling their mustache right now. Like, I don't really want to rock this look anymore. Like, Ammon is not doing a good job of representing the twirly mustache community.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys can make up your own mind.
They're
My
like,
point is,
got their
one side says
like,
up,
okay,
the other
no
says
more of
down,
this.
and it gets to the point. Both sides start hinting that they have photographic proof from the night of November 14th that proves the other side is lying. And so I'm like, look, at this point, let's stop talking. Show me the Legos.
Where I was told we are 100% have possession of photos that prove that the Gormans are lying. And then you guys are telling me we 100% have possession of photos that prove this side's lying.
Let's
Who's
see the
gonna drop
photos.
the photos first? I mean, I feel like someone just has to, somebody's right here.
And after a lot of convincing, both sides agreed to show me the photos, corporate and the Gormans. In fact, I scheduled the calls to do this an hour apart from each other. But let's remember their positions for a second. The Gormans say whatever was left unsold
Coffee's getting
of Brian's
everything.
collection that was in that store spreadsheet was in Salem store the night of November 14th. Then you have corporate side. They say whatever was left that night was maybe $2,000 to $5,000 of Legos. The rest was either stolen by thieves, the Gormans, or held off site. It was not in that store. And on both sides, there's a lot to lose here, right? You've got the Gormans who...
Okay, I feel like the reason you can't take anything the fucking corpro people are saying about the amount of Legos that might have been in the store is because even though they're saying 2,000 to 5,000, motherfuckers, they're not even consistent on how much the entire collection was worth. So like, how do we know they're being consistent on this? Like,
basically have been insinuated to have been stealing. And for Josh and Brandon too, the new franchise owners, there's a lot on the line. I reached out to Josh and he told me, I think her pictures would only show a few sets and minifigs. I replied, so if I can prove that the Lego sets were in the store, that will prove Brandon was lying? Josh replies, if it shows something different, then yes, I will eat my words. So the stakes have been established.
Josh has eaten his words so many times, though.
McNeff. First, he showed me the video, October 24th, 2024, for a baseline of how the store looked.
So this is the Salem Kaiser location, is that correct?
Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here? I mean, I'm seeing a store of Legos. You'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand. This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked bricks and minifigs, but it's not terrible. It's I would say a little below average as far as overall stock. So now let's go to November 14th. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So November 14th, when Brandon was in there helping.
Wait, this is the day. This is like the big day.
This is the day.
Hold on, I gotta prep myself emotionally for this. This is a big deal. This is D-Day. This is the big moment. This is Brandon takes over the store. We don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
We don't know where the Legos are after this moment. And I want to point out again that we've had this for a while. We haven't this is the first time we've shown this publicly. We've been waiting for our attorneys to give us the approval to say, hey, this is okay now to share in this capacity. So we'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store. This is what the shelves looked like compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
Let's see the metadata.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot less. Just to state the obvious, go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like way less.
So yeah, the pictures I was being shown on November 14th those shelves looked emptier than they did on the day of October 24th. But to be fair to the Gormans, they addressed the empty shelves themselves.
As we get to the very end of this video in particular, right here, you'll see that empty space right here. So this is the retired and certified set section that we have to keep separate from the new in box current sets being sold by Lego. All those empty spaces up there were the sets that we had on display during the day from Brian's collection that every night when the store closed, we pulled off and put back into the safe and then put back out in the morning.
So when they say, see, there's empty space on the shelves, yeah, because we put them in safes at night to keep them safe.
Because we have giant windows.
Yeah, it's an explanation that kind of makes sense given the history of burglary.
Let's
now,
see the Gorman's
of course,
pictures.
This is something I had to ask the McNeffs about.
Is this a case of, did y'all see Star Wars sets in the back? Did y'all not see the Star Wars sets in the back? Did he take, not in the back, but specifically in a safe? Like there were a bunch of Star Wars sets in a safe. Did Brandon see those? Has there been talk of those? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. My understanding is that he took pictures of everything, and all those photos I showed you of the Star Wars were all the photos, or was literally all the Star Wars inventory.
But how can we verify it?
Yeah, the McNeffs say all of the photos should be with Brandon of all the Star Wars items. And to be fair to them, they showed me a lot more pictures and even showed me a spreadsheet of all the Star Wars sets in the store the night Brandon took it over. And it valued to about like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask.
Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all have all of these?
Very likely.
Okay.
Again, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
But then I couldn't help myself. I started to bring up some of Crystal's photos to see if they matched up.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
So do you see that?
Yep.
So do you see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing? I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
What are you?
Okay.
How does that look like a bookshelf? It's literally what kind of bookshelf do you have? It's like fully metal and completely enclosed in the box. All right,
sides
bro.
there.
Looks like a
Feigning
bookshelf to me,
ignorance.
but sure.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I think the important thing is making sure that all of these are in the inventory for Mansell.
Sure. Sure. That's cool.
75041.
Yep. The Vulture Droid.
75169.
Oh shit.
169 I'm not seeing, so there may be... Okay, so there's one that is not on our list.
Let's try this. 10240.
Okay, nope, not seeing that one either.
What about 9493?
3. I don't see that one either. So maybe those were locked at the time, and Brandon did not get those pictures.
All right, that's kind of a problem because the Gormans had over 200 photos of this store. I definitely knew looking at these photos, there's a lot more Legos in the Gormans photos.
Brandon.
Quite a lot that Brandon's photos just didn't show. But corporate didn't really see it that way.
But still, in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking, again, 10 times the amount of sets here.
I don't know. I haven't shown all the photos.
Okay, that's not fair, no? Like, just because you only have $10,000 and then, like, you're saying, like, oh, there should be, like, 10x more or something. Like, brother, there's probably sets that are, like, one set might be worth, like, $10,000 by itself. Who knows? Like, bro, if you guys ever gone into the Lego world, there are rare sets that are, like, expensive as fuck, you know? So, like, this is, like, under the stipulation that all the sets are basically fucking chump change. And there's just a lot of them. But that just might not be true. It could just be a couple sets that are worth a lot, you know?
Yet I don't know exactly how much.
If there's a calculable figure that we can look at and say, great, this is what was there, I promise you it's not $100,000 worth of Lego. And so where's the rest of it? You got me. I don't know.
Maybe I'm a little too in my head about this U-Haul story. You don't think it could have been some U-Haul thing? There's no way.
Oh, yeah, have we talked about the U-Haul yet? We gotta talk about the U-Haul for a second. This is another one of those things that was like really disputed between the two parties. Was this U-Haul that supposedly was driven up to the store the night of the takeover.
So when Brandon came to the store that night,
No, I know what U-Haul is. I'm saying, we've never heard about a U-Haul in any of this. This is the first time it's coming up.
He was driving a U-Haul truck.
Now, in typical fashion, this was immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about.
Do these guys not have like cameras out front? Like, shouldn't there be some type of footage anywhere? Like, I don't.
This U-Haul truck now,
or even the cameras inside. Wouldn't there be footage of? Like, wouldn't corporate just have to get footage of inside the store after Brandon moved them out and be like, see, the rest of the night, nothing happened in the store? Like,
why is it significant, U-Haul or not? Well, one, a U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos.
Explain later.
But the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifix store in Eugene, Oregon.
Is it the Queen of Legos?
That's the one that Brandon and Josh own. And he told me something very
Part
interesting.
of the Church of Scientology sucks?
Oh no, it started in 2024. And I was working under the old manager Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon Best and Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where?
Eugene.
Okay, now what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
So this is a different Bricks and Minifigs store.
Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because when I was talking to my co-workers about the situation of Salem, and what we were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted, if you will, is what was going around.
What?
But after seeing the video of Reckless Ben, he exposed them, and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like, oh, Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us. When he was dropping off all the Lego sets to us that night. There was a bunch of used Lego sets that were like saran wrap. They had Star Wars City. There's just a lot of stuff. It was like in a medium-sized U-Haul truck.
Wait, they brought a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. A bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, when and was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
Interesting. Weird.
So, and he said, we're just going to hold on to this stuff until corporate tells us where we have to distribute it. And we're like, oh, well, it'd make more sense if we could take it because we're kind of struggling with, the product to put on the shelves.
Wait, what if the IRS audited Brandon and Josh's other store and then found discrepancies in, like, where did you get this product that you clearly didn't pay for that just came out of nowhere, and then suddenly they're all being sold en masse in this Eugene store? Oh. IRS doesn't check inventory like that, man, but wouldn't they see cash flow and, like, products being purchased and then, like, from a distributor and then sold, right? I feel like they would.
Oh my gosh. We really got to find out. Was there a U-Haul that night or not? Because everybody's disagreeing about
Anything
it.
happened while I was touching grass?
Oh yeah, a U-Haul showed up.
Yeah, we're getting
with
major
Star Wars
developments in the
sets
Lego
it.
case.
Brandon was talking about the Salem store. You've got Matt McNeff saying there was no U-Haul there. It was a rental car. You've got Crystal saying, yeah, I thought it was really weird. There was a U-Haul truck there. So I told the McNeffs, I really got to find out what the truth is
If
here.
they did that, half the streamers would be in jail. Bro, a streamer's worst nightmare is an IRS audit. You're not wrong. It is. You would not believe the amount of fucking shenanigans streamers be pulling as business expenses. Like, I'd swipe on stream. Those are business fucking expenses, man. All right?
Anything about it, let me know, because that's just something I heard.
Well, to be fair, I mean, everybody's afraid of an IRS audit. Who's not afraid of an IRS audit, bro? Like, fuck the IRS.
Nothing to do with the Salem store. Well, at least not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. when he came to get the keys from Crystal. He was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
So when there was the handoff, there wasn't a U-Haul, it was a rental car.
Correct. He was there in a rental car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think any of the, like, if you were to look at the
Bro, wouldn't it be crazy if the CEO of U-Haul just chimed in and was like, we don't usually do this, but we have records of one Brandon Best in Salem County renting a U-Haul on this. It's like, oh my god, what?
footage, the ring cameras, all that stuff, you won't see a U-Haul sitting anywhere in the parking lot.
So after hearing all of this, I realized, look, I just gotta find the evidence. So I start sifting through these photos I have, right? I realize I have a parking lot photo. I check it. No U-Haul, just a red truck out there. I check another photo where you can see the window, but the problem is it's night outside, so you can't see. And so I'm looking at everything I can, and there's just nothing, you know? And I have this alternate angle, I'm looking at that, and then...
Oh! Oh, shit.
Zoom in on that photo. Bring up the brightness of this photo a little bit, and... my gosh. There's a U-Haul in the parking lot right outside of the store the night of November 14th, 2024.
Wait, I'm so confused. Why do they keep lying? Okay, like, at a certain point, you have to be like, we probably shouldn't dig deeper, the hole that we're sitting in. We probably should just, like, we should stop, you know? Like, the hole's getting pretty deep. Like, bro, how can they genuinely think to... Quinn Logic always double down. Bro, but that's probably, like, not legal stuff. This is, like, there's legal cases behind this, bro.
This is something that Matt said he had seen footage of, and it couldn't be true.
And again, I believe I have seen footage from that night that shows clearly out into the parking lot, and there's no U-Haul.
After seeing this, I said, I really have to make a call. And that's when the story changed.
So last night, I talked with Matt McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning. You said, hey, we looked into it. There actually was a U-Haul there that night. Can you clear up what that's about?
So there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand. And I don't know if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee that worked at another location that back on the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, you know, like for a different situation that we had just...
I love how it's always an employee's fault. Some random dude. It was always some random dude who did this, not us. Like, oh my god, dude.
You know, gone through some things, and he had a previously, you know, like, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location. You guys can come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul inventory that then he moved down, but that was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with some time after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was a really delayed yes. Bro, like, I feel like bro, like, was really thinking about if he wanted to, like, follow through with this. He was like, should I say yeah? Fuck. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying...
It can't be audio delay. There has been no audio delay this whole time, like, in the footage. Like, that wasn't audio delay, bro.
There was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego, but that was from a different night, different collection. The CEO says Brandon showed up to Salem on October 24th for his secret shopper job with Crystal, and separately, he also was getting a different collection of Legos that also included Star Wars, and that's what he brought to the Eugene store and the former employee is remembering. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Brandon flew in to Eugene that night, at midnight, so on the flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on, like midnight of the 14th. Went and got a rental truck, and then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved up there in anticipation, meaning like a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that why he had a U-Haul? Is that the reason he had a U-Haul, was for this camper, or what's going on with the?
Yes. So then what happens is he takes his rental vehicle truck.
By the way, if Brandon's got nothing to hide, why is he not just getting on call with Coffee? Why are we doing this whole game of fucking telephone through the fucking CEO? Like, just fucking get Brandon on. Like, Brandon should be like, hey, I got nothing to hide, I'll get on with Coffee. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's so fucking obvious that they're just being snakes.
And he tries to connect the trailer, the camping trailer, to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight. And he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating for, like one of their box trucks. And so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th. And so he then went and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer, to a U-Haul, drove that trailer down to another location where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped off the camper trailer, and then he arrived in a U-Haul to the Salem store, and then went in, said hi to Crystal, and then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and so he locks it, calls the locksmith. Takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty exhausted, so and he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck. So he drops it off at midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that, grabs the rental truck, and then heads back up to the camper trailer in Salem, and then gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of gets a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon. And here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checks out what we already know. Then I got sent a photo, the last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m., where you can see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. And lastly, I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I get up early for, my other job.
You moved 4 hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest. If it took 4 hours to unload, you can't also drive to another city, load and unload and drop off the U-Haul in that time. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird, and it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. Nevertheless, without more proof, we kind of have to move on to another theory of how to find these missing Lego. This time, let's take the photographs that we have and reconstruct what was in the night on November 14th. Remember, that's the moment we lost the Lego. And this time, we're going to combine it with 2 more things. First, from corporate, I got the point of sale records from the Salem store from 2023 to 2024. And secondly, from Crystal Gorman, I got her internal records of Brian's inventory of what was sold or not in order to pay him and keep track of prices. Now, before we piece things together, I need to address something. At the beginning of this story, you saw the social post saying this collection was worth $200,000. That's what everyone knows this story as, the $200,000 Lego collection. But sadly, that post was entirely wrong. In Crystal Gorman's inventory, which has a high and low estimate value of these various Lego items, the real estimated value is about $107,000. They give high estimates and low estimates, but that's right there in the middle. And for simplicity, I'll just be using averages and estimates here, but understand that, these numbers are not firm, given that they're unsold Legos. It's just rough possibilities. But the point is, it's worth nowhere near $200,000. And Reckless Ben, the one who made the original video covering this, said that surprised him.
Yeah, this entire time, literally every single person's been telling me there were $200,000. Like, that's how much, you could sell all these sets for?
My original assessment of about $200,000 was going up to his father's house and looking in 3 different rooms with all the sets. It was before I'd actually gone through and had set numbers and done an actual like evaluation. I looked at it and went based on as things progressed and as I started to delve more into the actual inventory and evaluating it, that number changed. But we put out the press release well in advance of the event.
So you're telling me this is all over 100,000, not even 200,000? It's for half the brother. Listen, 100,000 is still a lot of money, but fucking Bricks and Minifigs is like what, a $300 million company? This is worth like 0.0000 like 1% of their fucking net worth, man.
Itself, so that press release went out before I had those full numbers. So we went,
oh, $400 million.
Nice,
oh, my bad.
Number that will grab attention and bring people into the store. So we went with that.
And still, I mean, to believe that is accurate at the high end. Like, it was one of those things where when she was looking through and going, well, it says this and it says this.
-2 years.
Like, you don't think even at the high end?
You haven't actually seen the spreadsheet.
No, I haven't.
You might want to cut that part out because he hasn't actually seen the inventory sheet.
The spreadsheet says about from between 85,000 to 120 something thousand. In the midpoint about 107 or something like that of what was inventory. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a really big point of misinformation to clear up, because if we're ever going to find the missing Lego, we need to start with the right number, the right value. It's about $107,000. Now, between 2023 and 2024, the Gormans record sales of about $24,000 of Brian's collection in their inventory tracking list. And of those sales, Brian was entitled to about 65 to 70% of it. He was paid $17,000, which roughly tracks with that. Which means on November 14th, the big night, the remaining amount of Brian's collection that should have been in there is about $82,000. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize this is a very different number than corporate provided, who found only $2,000 to $5,000 of it linked to Brian. And later they said they only found $13,000 to $15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So you're talking maybe $11,000 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it. So I went through Crystal's photos myself, which she shared with me, and hired people to go through and hand tag the Star Wars Legos that were in these photos. We looked through over 200 plus photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection. In the end, I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos, matching Brian's collection that can be proven to be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now, to state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release. Now, yes, there are inherent errors in these estimates. Maybe we picked up some Lego that matched Brian's collection, but wasn't Brian's. But even though this is a bigger number than corporate said, I have to admit, even with pretty generous assumptions being made, there's still a huge gap of about $61,000 here that I just couldn't find. But then I learned Brian had made a special side deal with M&R Productions, who had recently purchased some Legos from him. And this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the pictures that M&R Productions sent me, looking at the Lego that Brian sold him.
Oh my God, what's going on, brother? Why, like, we should not be finding out this much extra stuff this late into the game, no? What is going on, dude? Why did Brian Mansell never talk about this other dude that got portion of the collection?
This was stuff reportedly in storage, and it's interesting because of an early inventory list which had a column called location that Crystal used, and it listed a lot of the Star Wars items as being located in what they called storage. Now, previously I was told that all of the stuff in storage was put back in the store, but there's a bunch that's on this list that I can't find in the store that seem to appear in these pictures. Now,
shit.
I've been assured, by the way, that most of these Legos
Who's Brian?
were
He's
not
the owner
part
of the Lego
inventory
collection.
spreadsheet. They were never given to Bricks and Minifigs. This
the
is a
owner's
separate
son.
part of the collection. But I did a check, and 100% of the items that match the Brian collection inventory just so happen to be listed with a location of storage. So This starts to make things incredibly fuzzy, and I'm inclined to believe that a lot of these are part of that same inventory list. Now, if we take that value of the side deal, that's about $10,000 to $20,000 that's not actually missing. Now, it was at this point I started looking more at the point of sales records. I realized maybe we could find some of this missing Lego there too. So this is from the Salem internal store records. Like, I guess this is what is entered when someone does.
Wouldn't it be so funny if all these missing Legos were literally just sitting in a storage closet this whole time, and we just like went through all of this fucking nonsense? It was just literally in a fucking random storage container. Like,
a sale, and it's everything from September 2023 to November 2024 of Star Wars anything. And by the way, before we continue, yes, this was all a lot of work. If you want to, please support us on Patreon. That's how this show gets made. But anyways, according to those records, about $51,000 in sales went through during this time period in a way that matched Brian Mansell's collection. Now, that really worried me because Crystal's inventory list showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian, and Brian was only paid for that amount. But suddenly, I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal.
Yeah.
You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand.
Yeah.
But Brian was only paid $17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft right now. You understand?
I mean, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
Okay, this is kind of a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. And digging into the details, it turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as layaways, meaning they were marked as having been sold, but layaways are when someone puts a down payment on an item and later pays it off. But the problem was there were a lot of these, worth about $20,000 in layaway, and that felt a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he responded, quote, there were 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over.
So on the list of that, on the inventory list, do you know about how many layaways?
I haven't gone through and done a count, but I know it was vastly more than 2 to 3.
It was about 98.
That makes sense.
So there were about $15,000 to $25,000 worth of sets on layaway.
Okay.
That's just the part that's surprising. That's the part that I can't get my head around. I go, how could, let me just be really honest. I don't believe there was that much layaway. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible. How could there be that much layaway? I don't know. It's like I don't believe, because I was talking to some people about bricks and minifigs. They go, yeah, there's some layaway. There's not that much layaway. I talked to people who were neutral, kind of on corporate side, but also people who were just normal bricks and minifigs people. They say there's not that much layaway. Help me understand why there's $20,000 worth of layaway here.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. If you talk to other bricks and minifigs locations, layaway is extremely rare. I think outside of the Brian's collection,
Okay, good. I'm not crazy here. So then why was there so much layaway there?
No, absolutely not. Outside of Brian's collection, I think at the time we maybe had 2 used sets on layaway outside of his collection. Okay. It was not a common thing traditionally. I don't know that we'd ever done layaway before the collection came in. With Brian's collection, it was a little bit different because so much of this collection were new in box, all in one place, reasonably priced, and a lot of the harder to find items. And so customers would come in and put, I'm gonna guess probably half of those layaway items were not gonna be sold to the person who took them on layaway, because we had several that would put them on layaway and then change their mind. So this was something like, somebody would come in and want 10 different sets but only be able to buy 1. Can I put the rest of those on layaway so you don't sell them? I'll pay $10 to put these sets on layaway. Traditionally with layaway, we would ask for 10% down. They'd have 30 days to make their next payment, or we'd refund the layaway amount and then put it back on the shelf. Because this collection was the collection it was, and I wanted to give these people the opportunity to, sorry, dogs, to get these sets.
But 98
we were a lot
of them?
more generous with how long and the amount of payments that people could make towards the layaway. So a lot of these, we had several of them. I think one of the Ewok villages, we put on layaway 4 different times, and then it came off of layaway and back on layaway and then off and then sold. So a lot of these would have gone on and off of layaway and then back out on the shelf, just depending on the person who was putting it on layaway. That was completely unique to this collection.
So look, I'll be honest, I don't trust Josh Johnson, but something is weird here.
So a lot of these are, see, like, look at this, like, so like it says POS final sale price, but it's listed as a layaway, but it's sold for $5.99.
Yeah.
Because it matches with the store sale price.
Okay.
So
she might have bad
were they
books.
on layaway? Were they accidentally marked layaway on the spreadsheet? What's going on there?
I mean, without seeing the actual sales ticket and seeing what else, like what items were sold together, what else was sold with it, I can't actually see the sales ticket. We had several layaway items in which customers were putting multiple things on layaway, paying for most of one item, and then, or they were buying, 8 different things together and then putting all of them on layaway and making payments on multiple items at the same time. Our Ewok village was one of those cases. At some point he had, I think, like 8 or 9 different items on layaway. So they'd come in and make a payment for a bulk payment. I've got 800 things on layaway.
Yo, this layaway shit is like fucking, this gotta be a nightmare material for like a fucking owner transition. How the fuck do you keep track of this shit?
I'm gonna make $100 on my payment. One customer in particular would do that, and then when he'd gotten up high enough to pay for one
it
set,
sounds like a
we'd
pain
pull
in the
that
ass,
set
and
out,
sounds like she
mark it
didn't
as
track
sold.
it correctly.
So without seeing the actual tickets and my layaway records, I cannot answer a question any clearer than that.
But I even found more than that in this POS data. I also found about $10,000 in sales that match Brian's collection that were not marked as sold under this inventory spreadsheet.
Some of our things that were not found were explained by the POS system because they were found in the POS system as being sold. So like they weren't marked on the spreadsheet, but they were marked as sold via the POS system. And this is about $10,000 worth of Lego that basically were matched.
See, and I don't know. Take anything happening from, let's see, sorry, I'm trying to do math here. I don't know without being able to see all of the records. There is a possibility that the consignments were ended.
Bro, this was what I was worried about early on into the story. That, like, a lot of us believed the Gormans, but, like, they could have been unreliable narrators. We never had a reason to fully trust everything they said. But we just went with it because corpo bad. But, yeah, they might not be lying. They might just be incompetent. But being incompetent and having bad books in this case does not help the case at all, especially because they have a lawsuit. So, yeah, I feel like they might be cooked.
When I wasn't at work and I just didn't go through and pull them up, they didn't get put in the consignment ticket. I hadn't gone through those consignments in a couple of months. I hadn't gone through the inventory in the back room in a couple of months. So it is entirely possible there were sales that were finished that I never clocked as being finished.
What? For a couple of months? Isn't that just like really bad management of your business? A couple of months? I feel like that's, I don't know, man. God damn.
I don't know that without going through and actually seeing it.
But you're saying it's possible stuff was sold, not...
Brother, not updating your inventory and like spreadsheets in a couple of... I get like maybe a couple of weeks to do like a monthly update, but a couple of months? What the fuck?
Updated on this inventory list.
It's entirely possible that stuff did not get updated on my spreadsheet. I'm not going to sit here and claim it's not possible. It's possible I missed things.
So where does this leave us? I know some people are jumping to conclusions here, but I must remind you.
Yeah, see, this is the issue. Corporate has been pushing this narrative that the Gormans were not good franchise owners. It's kind of lends credence to that. So, I mean...
Night of November 14th, 2024, Crystal Gorman was concerned about Brian getting paid or not getting paid.
He has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
Okay. So Crystal, ultimately, that's a business thing and not necessarily yours. Brandon will take, because taking on the business, he takes on all that kind of side now.
So obviously, one could see that and say she was intending to
reconcile
reconcile with Brian,
behind
maybe she
some
hadn't gotten
bookkeeping
around
is?
to it.
Really?
And of course, corporate
Like,
will
that's
probably take a
normal?
more cynical
I
view
feel like
of what
that's
she's
bad.
doing by printing these receipts. But the point is, regardless of whose side you're on, I think we can all agree there's a lot of weird stuff here on all sides. Abnormal stuff. Sure, maybe you can chalk some of this up to bad record keeping between the U-Haul, the layaways, the $20,000 in Lego sets that corporate called $2,000 to $5,000 that was there that night, the off-book deals. But even if we can't fully know 100%, what these weird things were about, I think they tell a story of what actually happened to Brian's collection. In a way, multiple people, I think, are kind of right, kind of wrong. The Gormans were correct.
No, he
more
actually
of that collection
has a
was there
$1
that
million
night
studio.
of the takeover than previously thought. But corporate also alleged that some of it was offsite, and that appears to be partly true, although some of that is disputed, and it looks like, way more of the collection was sold and layaway
does have a
than
robot
Brian
working
was
the
paid
machine
for.
back there.
But all in all, there's a lot less missing than many people think, especially if your starting number is $200,000. I estimated, and I must emphasize, estimated with bad records, that there's only about $10,000 to $20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources.
Agave, think
This
about it,
isn't to
22
say
months.
Brian's
Welcome
been
back.
fully compensated. Much of this, Brian wasn't paid for that I know of. So I estimate he's still out about $50,000 to $83,000 for Lego he wasn't compensated for. And I think, honestly, that's something that Bricks and Minifigs obviously should handle and make right. Regardless of what a franchisee does, the new one, the old one, the company behind it must stand behind their product.
200,000, but actually 100,000 is already a red flag. I will say I take that back about it being a true red flag because it wasn't just corpo saying, it wasn't just a corporate saying that now. It's also the Gormans saying that basically they ran with the 200,000 number for PR purposes before that they actually had full accounting done. They just ran it because it's big headline, Yeah, Brian knew it was around 100K though. Oh, did he? If that's true, then yeah, it was never truly 200K.
Service, and I can't imagine a better example of a company doing the opposite. Unfortunately, Bricks and Minifigs has chosen to deflect and dodge responsibility at most opportunities and created a really awful customer experience that has snowballed into this crazy series of events. But instead of taking accountability for that, they've taken an aggressive legal strategy, which I told them personally was a horrible idea. As of writing this, Brian Mansell is being sued for $1.3 million as part of a legal campaign against him and Reckless Ben and any of the associates. Remember, Brian is the same guy who lost all these Legos at Bricks and Minifigs store. And I told the CEO and COO that's ridiculous and they should drop this. Look, mistakes have been made by plenty of people here, but there's a lot more people who have inflicted self-owns, the likes of which we've rarely seen, by just choosing the worst possible path at every fork in the road. No pun intended. But the best path to making things right, in my view, is by just making Brian whole and moving on. Drop the aggressive legal strategy. You are a Lego store at the end of the day. You are supposed to be about fun, not about a rerun of Suits. But anyways, that's my investigation. Those are my closing thoughts. And I knew I wanted to approach everyone involved in this whole story with my results and see what they thought to close things out.
Does all that make sense to you? Because I'm showing everyone in this story and saying, hey,
the thing
are any of these numbers blowing your mind, or is any of this crazy to you?
No, it's not crazy. But what's crazy, again, all the photo evidence that both sides have points to there being sure, $20,000 worth of Lego in this of Star Wars Lego in the store that night, right? I don't know, man. I'm just like, can people understand maybe why there was some confusion and why there was some hesitation when somebody comes in and says, hey, you owe me $60,000 worth of product and Lego, and we go, we don't even know who you are. Like, yeah, Crystal mentioned something about consignment on her way out the door.
That's not true, though. Didn't corporate literally post PR about the $200,000 Lego set, collection being sold? So, like, they knew.
And we go, sure, we'll get that figured out. But then the guy just walks in and demands $60,000 worth of Lego? Like, what am I supposed to do other than say, cool, show me, can you show me the proof?
The problem is there's so much of a dispute on the timeline, and this is what's going to make this story so hard to tell, is like, they say, you guys are unreasonable. They tried, and eventually they gave up. But they say they tried it. They were basically met with, like, unreasonable requests, things like that. So
verification, documentation, is that unreasonable, do you think?
Well, I think they would say they provided the documentation. Yeah. You guys say you need more documentation. So I mean,
yeah, wait, what? What is it, bro? What is? Gee,
that's kind of the right. A spread, like, I understand a spreadsheet and a contract are a good start.
Yeah.
You need more than a contract? Wait, what more do you need than a contract? What?
Yeah, but we never got that. That was never sent to us at corporate, by the way.
Y'all do have the spreadsheet though, yeah? Y'all have the spreadsheet.
That was shared online, but months after we asked for it.
It says it's. I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM Franchising Inc. Owner Salem.or bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.or at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6, 2024. When I look at it, this is the Mansell list, I believe.
So this would have been created under, like, so we have the we own the,
wow, he's taking a lot. Oh, wait.
We have this. Y'all have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like, so if this is the first that anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using, like, Bricks and Minifigs Salem, like, and all of this stuff was archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal. And we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it was. We don't know a lot of those types of things. And understand, I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't, like, we don't know everything. And
is that a good excuse for a business? I feel like that's got, like, no way that holds up in court. You can't say, it was under our business, but we didn't know about it, so we're innocent. Like, that does not hold up in court. Like, you're supposed to, like, what?
Don't go, like, looking in every nook and cranny everywhere, like, we just don't know some of those things. So if that's there, we can now have our team go look for that.
When it comes right down to it, they're going to have to make a judgment call and say, who's telling the truth? The people who were taking all the pictures and say, and we couldn't take pictures of everything the night of, but we're being honest consistently, and the people who are saying, there was $5,000 there. Really? Like, that makes no sense. We've got the evidence, and yes, there's a discrepancy. We acknowledge we did not take pictures of everything, but does that mean that the discrepancy is, and therefore these missing, percentage, whatever that would be, 5%, is some magical other place? Or it was sitting there in the store and we didn't get pictures of it.
If I messed up,
explanation.
If I messed up on my record keeping, I will take accountability for that. Mm-hmm. It's possible. If my staff didn't draw attention that consignments had left out, so I'd move them to the thing. Any of that, I will take accountability to that. I am more than willing to do that. I need BAM to show me those tickets.
As they promised.
Yeah, I don't think the Gormans are being,
Brian and talk this over and figure out
shady.
What we missed,
I think they just
where it was missed and how it was
bad
missed,
bookkeeping,
and make that right with him.
I mean, that's new information no one's ever found out, so that's, like, awesome. They're gonna lose hundreds of millions of dollars because of their own wrongdoing, They're literally going to destroy their entire company because they're this stubborn over maybe $20,000 worth of Lego.
Sure, I'll be keeping you in the loop with
Bro,
It's nice. I'm excited. This was good work. My other final thoughts is, dude, you solved it, dude. That's awesome.
Brandon Best and Josh Johnson are no longer working at Bricks and Minifigs. Yup. Bricks and Minifigs is suing Brian Mansell and Reckless Ben for over $1 million in damages. See, this doesn't make any sense, by the way. How are you suing Brian Mansell, but then at the same time, you say, come to the table, Brian. Let's, you know, figure out your Legos and let's pay you back. But then sue him for, like, 100x the value of the Legos that you're gonna give back to him. Like, what the fuck? A restraining order is in effect against Reckless Ben to prevent him from speaking about Bricks and Minifigs. Yep. The Gormans are suing Bricks and Minifigs. The lawsuit claims Brian's collection had an original aggregate value of around $250,000. What? Where's that coming from? I thought the Gormans said it was $107,000 roundabout. Where's $250,000 coming from? I don't know about that one. I don't think the Gormans are gonna win this, bro. Just because their books are cooked. Just because I don't think Crystal was very good at keeping her books clean. Or not clean, but well kept. Damn. This is crazy. It's crazy that this many new things are coming out about this case at this point in the story. Holy moly, bro. I can see why Coffee delayed it as much as he did. Like, there were so many things coming out that Ben hadn't even known about. Coffee getting involved feels like the YouTube version of the FBI. True, Ben was the local police, and now we got Coffeezilla. Oh, boy. Listen, I will still say this, though. The most damning part of all this is Brandon Best and Josh Johnson. The fact that they refused to get on a call, besides texting at best. Listen, I'm just saying, if you got nothing to hide, you should... If anything, I feel like a call would help them the most compared to anything. You know? The movie rights to all this is, bro, oh my god, can you imagine they make a movie about this when it's all done? Like a straight up like Wolf of Wall Street level, you know? Like that would be crazy. That U-Haul bid is sealed the fucking deal. Yeah, I mean, the U-Haul bid is a bit sus, but it's not enough. It's not enough concrete. Like the timestamps that Brandon Best provides are good enough to like explain things. Because if you've ever rented a U-Haul, you do need to take pictures of like how much gas you have left. You have all those records that U-Haul sends you as well. So it's very easy to prove. Can you TLDR the last part? Basically corporate says we didn't know about it, even though we should have known about it, so it's not our fault. And the Gormans say, you know, we'll take accountability if our books suck, but like there's definitely you know, that they definitely didn't do anything like malicious, you know, which I think I'd like to believe, because like she handed over everything. There's no way you purposefully hand over bad books. Yeah, and corporate just doesn't ever look good in any of this. If you are a business owner and you say something that should have been under your purview, was in your purview, but you just didn't know about it, it means that's negligence, bro. That's still on you. You can't just be like, I wash my hands of this. I am not culpable. Like, you can't do that. They're disputed of sold but not paid is around 10K, so just need to pay him like 6.5K. Bro, that's the thing. Like, if everything that Coffee's saying is right, there is only really like $20,000 left to pay, like Ben says here. If I was Bricks and Minifigs, you are worth 400 million. Oh, probably not that much anymore. Your businesses are probably fucking tanking, but like, you still are worth a fuck ton. You can pay off 20K, man. Like, it really doesn't make sense to ego over 20K for all this negative PR. The 6-figure Lego collection was not important enough to be on his radar. Yeah, apparently, you know? Apparently the world's largest Star Wars collection, as a Lego CEO, like a fan of a, you know, business around Lego is not important enough to know. So what happens to the 200K worth of Legos Ben bought that he sued Bam for? Well, technically he only sued 100K. Never tuned this scandal. So who is the bad guy? I actually don't think corporate is a true bad guy. They're associates to the bad guys, right? They tried to cover up for the bad guys. But I think the true bad guys are Brandon Best and Josh Johnson. I think corporate are accessories. They try to cover up and help, but I don't think they're the main villains. I think Josh Johnson and Brandon Best are the main villains. Corporate are like the fucking, they're like the side villains, Oh, I mean, the American Fort Police Department, I would not be surprised if the entire fucking department gets absolutely fucking dressed down top to bottom. By the way, this entire thing didn't even go into the police department. I wonder if Coffee's gonna make a video on the police department. It's not really in his, playing field. He mainly just sticks to, money trails and stuff like that. But I do wonder if he's going to talk about, the police. Because the police force is a whole nother fucking bag of worms. They literally have body cam footage of the police literally breaking fucking constitutional rights. For fun, by the way. They're full recording everything, shopping for crimes that they could charge Ben with. They're just if we can't do this, we'll try this and this and this. Brother, you can't shop for crimes to try to arrest someone. And then there's just on camera saying, oh, let's just scare them a little. We're just gonna scare them a little. Oh my, what the fuck, bro?